So today, a question that we have is going to be, what do you think? Do you think that Bone and Squirrel are going to eventually like living with Marcy and George? Now, if you're wondering, who are Marcy and George, and what do you mean living with a new person? It's that last time Bone and Squirrel had been off, out of their shed, searching for a new home, because Bone didn't think that it was safe there anymore after he kept hearing the gunshot that killed Mine the fox. So basically, yeah, and possibly their mother as well. But anyways, they were walking, and they stopped kind of on the edge of a highway, and these two people stopped, and their names were George and Marcy, and they picked them up and brought them home. And Bone still is a little cautious, but I don't think they like the way. I think they like Marcy more than George. George did not really want to keep them at all, and he's so mean to them. They obviously know that Squirrel and Bone would not be trained in the house, and so Squirrel peed because he really had to pee. So he peed in the house, but he moved off the rug, which is actually kind of generous for a dog. Typically, they just pee wherever they want. So he moved off the rug onto the hardwood floor, and he peed. But he's not trained. He's not house trained. So obviously, he's gonna pee eventually. And he's like, "Hey, bad dog, stop that!" And then he just threw them onto the porch steps. And I didn't think that was very kind. But
Bone was out there too.
yeah.
They both peed, and Bone would be thrown out with Squirrel, and then they could run away.
Yeah, they could. But Squirrel didn't want to leave without Bone. So, anyways, I think Marcy's way nicer, so she went outside to pick up a squirrel again, and she's like, okay, and she's talking to them now, you just can't pee, and George is like, they can't hear what you're saying, and it's just kind of weird. So do you think that if they live with them for a little while, do you think they're eventually going to get comfortable with Marcy and George?
Probably because of how, probably not Bone, but because of how Squirrel acted with Matthias. He's probably going to get very used to them very quickly, as long as they're nice.
I think they're at least going to get used to Marcy, but they probably would always want to cuddle with Marcy and not cuddle with George that much, because they'll probably be like, "You're mean, we like Marcy." And so, I think that they might eventually get a little bit more comfortable. Even Bone, he'll still be cautious of things, because I think what Bone's trying to do is not get. I have a kind of side question. He's not trying to get so, comfortable to the point where he's like, oh, I'm totally safe here and I could live here for the rest of my life. Because eventually, if something did happen, he wouldn't want to be, if supposedly one of them died where they had to run away or something for some reason, because they were starting to be mean, he would still be like, well, I really care about them, but he wouldn't be to the point, I can't leave them. I need to stay with them. He would be the point, maybe, I really like them, but I have to go. And yes.
My kind of side question would be, do you think if Bone was thrown out of the house, do you think Bone would leave without Squirrel?
That's actually a pretty tough question, because Bone is a little bit more
cautious and
independent. He's a little bit more independent than Squirrel is, because Squirrel's the one who has to follow him everywhere.
But when they're separated, Squirrel is not like most dogs that she has companions on her journey, her mother and her brother Bone, but when they're separated, blah, 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 blah. So maybe this is how they lose Bone. Maybe he runs off instead of waiting for Squirrel.
Yeah, I don't think that Bone would leave a Squirrel, but then again, he's more independent, and if he thinks that Squirrel would be better left alone, and he'd think that Squirrel would have a better life, maybe he's doing it for the better, and he'd think Squirrel would have a better life with them, and I wouldn't, and I need to do something of my own. on my own. So, what kind of signpost do you think that this is? Do you think it's kind of like
Perfect! Oh my god!
Maybe. Well, my side question was more trustworthiness, friendship.
Did you
stuff.
make what must it be like to be them?
Think they'll ever settle in. Kind of want to do one of the character thingy-bobs. We could do trustworthiness for Bone.
Yeah, I think it is kind of trustworthiness because they really have to, if they want to live with Marcy and George, they have to be able to trust Marcy and George. So I think the signpost is trustworthiness, and I think, the question was,
Do you think Bone and
do you think Bone and Squirrel will ever, like, be comfortable with Marcy and George? That's all. Bye.